The camera shook violently as smoke and fire filled the air, and the whole world stared at their screens. A towering alien commander with skin like polished chrome and eyes burning blue mocked humanity in a voice so deep it rattled the satellites transmitting him. "Snipers of Earth," he bellowed, "your rifles are toys fit for cave children. Bring your best or kneel and surrender your planet to our laughter." The crowd of alien spectators behind him cheered with cruel delight as the image flashed across every TV, phone, and giant city screen on Earth. It was the most humiliating moment in human history. Soldiers stood frozen. Presidents stammered into microphones. And somewhere in the desert of Nevada, a retired man with a scarred face and haunted eyes slowly crushed his beer can in one hand without blinking. It was a name spoken with half awe and half fear in the quiet halls of Special Forces history books. The Ghost Legionnaire. Some said he had fired a shot in Kandahar that bent around a mountain. Others claimed he once sank a pirate ship with a single bullet by ricocheting through its engine room. No one knew the truth because the ghost never talked. He had vanished years ago after a mission gone wrong, leaving behind medals, rumors, and an empty bar stool in every military base on the planet. Now the governments were desperate. Alien Commander Zorith Vex had declared a challenge to Earth snipers, turning planetary defense into a galactic game show. If Earth's best could hit his champions in the interstellar arena, humanity would live free. If they failed, Earth would become a theme park for the galaxy's rich tourists to gawk at humans like animals. The first broadcasts showed alien crowds selling popcorn while discussing which parts of Earth they wanted for vacation homes. A colony of Martian aristocrats wanted New York turned into a giant swimming pool. A Venusian duchess asked if giraffes were for sale. The world boiled with outrage. In Washington, Moscow, Beijing, and London, generals shouted over each other. "We need our best sniper," one demanded. "We need more than that," another barked. "We need a ghost." That was when a nervous intelligence officer cleared his throat and said the name everyone else was afraid to utter. The Ghost Legionnaire. But the ghost had retired to a cabin deep in the Nevada desert. He lived without internet, electricity, or any sign of the modern world except for a single solar-powered radio that spat out weather reports. When the black SUVs arrived, raising dust clouds in the twilight, he stepped out onto the porch in worn boots, holding a coffee mug with the words "World's Greatest Quitter" printed on it. "We need you back," the lead agent said without preamble. "I quit," the ghost replied, sipping coffee. "They mocked Earth," the agent said. "They mocked snipers. They mocked your unit by name." The ghost's eyes flickered for the first time. "My unit is dead," he said flatly. "Exactly," the agent replied softly. "And they laughed about that too." Silence fell. The desert wind rattled the broken weather vane on the roof. Somewhere, a coyote howled. The ghost set down his coffee mug. His expression didn't change, but his next words carried the weight of storms. "They mocked the wrong ghosts," he said. Within hours, the world erupted with hope as rumors spread that the Ghost Legionnaire had agreed to fight. News networks played old grainy photos of him in combat gear, face painted, eyes like ice. Recruitment videos showed him training soldiers 20 years younger, who swore he could shoot the wings off a fly at 2 miles. But then came the twist. Military scientists revealed alien targeting systems could read the physics of every bullet before it left the barrel, calculating trajectories instantly. No matter how fast or skilled a human sniper was, the alien tech would know exactly where the shot was going and stop it midair with plasma shield. The challenge was unwinnable. At a secret press conference, generals argued in circles. Maybe we use drones. Maybe missiles. Maybe we surrender and save lives. But the Ghost Legionnaire simply said one sentence that silenced the entire room. "You're all thinking like soldiers. Stop. Start thinking like hunters." The next morning, he stood before Earth's best snipers gathered from every nation. Men and women with medals, scars, and nerves of steel listened as he laid out his plan in a voice cold and calm as winter rain. "They predict bullets," he said. "Fine. We give them chaos. We give them tricks no machine can solve. Ricochets, decoys, wind they cannot measure, shots they cannot see coming. We make every bullet a question mark. The snipers exchanged glances. One young soldier raised his hand nervously. Sir, is this even possible? The ghost smiled for the first time in years. Possible, a machine can play chess perfectly. But humans invented poker. As the room absorbed his words, a massive screen lit up behind them showing alien Commander Zorith Vex laughing on his broadcast. The alien wore royal battle armor that shimmered with blue energy as he announced updates for the galactic audience. First round begins in 7 days. Prepare your primates, Earth. He blew a mocking kiss to the camera. Alien crowds roared with laughter. Entire stadiums on distant planets sold tickets. Betting markets across the galaxy opened odds on how fast Earth would lose. But in the training base hidden under Nevada sand, the ghost Legionnaire picked up a sniper rifle with calm precision. His scarred hands moved like this was destiny calling after years of silence. 7 days, he murmured. Time enough to teach the galaxy fear. The training base had once been a secret missile silo, now stripped of warheads and filled with dirt, wind machines, and steel towers designed to mimic alien terrain. Every continent had sent its finest marksmen and markswomen. Some were military veterans with eyes that never blinked. Others were Olympic shooters with nerves of ice. A few were wildcards, people whispered about in backroom stories, hunters and rebels whose skills defied regulations. They stood in loose clusters watching the man who had become a legend even before most of them were born. The ghost Legionnaire stepped into the center, rifle slung casually across his back, face expressionless, as if he were about to teach a class on gardening instead of planetary survival. The first thing he did was insult them. You all look like soldiers, he said, voice carrying through the cavernous space. Straight spines, polished boots, regulation haircut. Perfect targets. Murmurs rippled across the group. One American sniper muttered something under his breath about respecting rank. The ghost ignored him completely. Aliens don't fear soldiers, he continued. They expect soldiers. They've been watching your wars for centuries like late-night comedy shows. They know how soldiers think. We are not going to war as soldiers. We are going hunting. It was a subtle shift in tone, but the room felt it. This was not about marching in lines or obeying orders. This was about outsmarting something that believed it was smarter than you. The ghost paced slowly, eyes sharp, the scar on his cheek catching the overhead lights. Lesson 1, he said. Predictability kills. If your enemy can read your moves, you are already dead. To demonstrate, he asked one sniper to take a shot at a moving target high on the steel tower. As soon as the man raised his rifle, the ghost hurled a chunk of metal across the room. The loud clang startled the sniper. His shot went wide, and the ghost shook his head. You think war waits politely for you to breathe and aim. It doesn't. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and if the aliens cannot cause chaos, they will fake it until you believe it. From that moment the training changed completely. Wind machines roared to life, whipping sand and dust into their faces. Lights flashed randomly to simulate explosions. Recorded alien laughter blasted through hidden speakers. Targets moved unpredictably, darting behind walls or vanishing altogether. They trained for hours under brutal conditions, learning to shoot between heartbeats, to sense patterns in chaos, to fire not where a target was but where it might panic and run when frightened. The ghost showed them ricochet techniques, bouncing bullets off walls at angles that made physicists shake their head. He explained how to use reflections, how to make the enemy think a shot was coming from one direction when it came from another. A British sniper named Collins finally spoke up after missing a target for the 5th time. This is madness, he said. No one fights like this. The ghost paused, fixing him with a stare that felt like it could nail you to a wall. They will, he said softly. Meanwhile, alien drones hovered just beyond the perimeter, transmitting the training sessions back to the galaxy. Commander Zorith Vex watched with amusement from his flagship. Every time a human missed a shot, Alien talk shows replayed it with cartoon sound effects and laugh tracks. One network even created a dance remix called Earth Misses Again, which became a viral hit across 3 star systems. The humiliation was relentless. And yet, slowly the snipers improved. They began hitting targets through dust storms, threading bullets between swinging obstacles, striking drones that zigzagged unpredictably. What began as frustration turned into fierce determination. Even Collins stopped complaining after landing a nearly impossible shot through 2 layers of spinning metal plates. One evening, as the sun bled red across the desert, the Ghost gathered them around a holographic map of the alien arena. It shifted constantly, platforms rising and falling, bridges collapsing, weather changing from snow to firestorms within minutes. They control the field, the Ghost said. Which means we control nothing except our minds. That is where we win. They expect us to break. We will not. Reyes, the young sniper whose brother had been taken hostage by the aliens, studied the map silently. Her hands shook slightly when she reloaded her rifle. The Ghost watched her for a long moment before speaking quietly so only she could hear. Fear is fine, he said. It keeps you sharp. Regret is what gets you killed. She nodded once, swallowing hard, and returned to practice with renewed focus. By the 4th day the Ghost introduced something no one expected. Live opponents. He brought in former soldiers armed with paint rifles and ordered them to hunt the snipers through the training grounds. Suddenly the students were not just shooting at targets but being hunted themselves. The facility exploded with chaos as paint rounds cracked through the air and trainees dove behind barricades, returning fire with real bullets at moving drones while avoiding getting tagged. One rookie sniper named Patel ended up cornered near the wind machines, 3 paint rifles aimed at him. Thinking fast, he switched off his targeting scope, aimed at a steel panel above the attackers, and fired. The bullet ricocheted twice before smacking all 3 opponents with flying shards of metal. The Ghost actually smiled at that one, a rare thing indeed. By the end of the week bruises covered arms, sand-filled boots, and faces were burned by sun and wind. But the snipers moved differently now. Less like soldiers. More like predators. They stopped waiting for orders and started creating opportunities, using distractions, weather, and even each other to confuse the opposition. That night, while most slept, the Ghost sat alone cleaning his rifle under the desert stars. He could hear alien laughter echoing faintly from the drones circling high above, broadcasting humanity's every move to billions of viewers across the galaxy. The enemy thought this was all for show, a game to amuse them before Earth's inevitable defeat. But the Ghost Legionnaire had stopped caring about shows, about politics, about survival even. For him this had become something else entirely. The aliens had mocked his fallen unit, men and women who had died following him into battle years ago. This was no longer training. This was personal. As the wind howled across the empty desert, he whispered to no one in particular. 7 days, he murmured. Time enough to teach even gods how to bleed. The alien arena hung in space above the red world of Crixus 9 like a crown of cruelty. It was a vast floating coliseum of steel and plasma shields, filled with tens of thousands of alien spectators screaming for human defeat. Lights blazed across its massive platforms, illuminating shifting landscapes designed to break minds and bones alike. One section resembled a jungle with twisting vines, another was a frozen wasteland with gusting winds, and a third was nothing but crumbling stone towers balanced over molten lava. The arena could reconfigure itself at the flick of a switch, turning safe ground into sudden death trap. When Earth's transport ship docked, the human team stepped out to a deafening chorus of alien jeers. Towering insectoid creatures waved banners depicting Earth with a giant red X across it. Amphibian aristocrats with gold-plated gills laughed behind jeweled masks. Vendors sold snacks that looked suspiciously like roasted Earth animals. Entire galaxies had come to watch what they thought would be a public humiliation. Commander Zorith Vex stood at the center platform, tall and gleaming in his battle armor, basking in the chaos like a king returning to his throne. His voice boomed across the stadium as he welcomed the competitors from Earth with a grin sharp enough to cut steel. "Behold the warriors of the mud world," he said, arms wide. "May they last longer than the chickens did last year." The crowd erupted with laughter. A hologram replayed a previous year's games where a species of 6-foot talking birds had been obliterated in under 3 minutes. Betting stalls opened instantly, odds flashing in alien languages predicting Earth's defeat in record time. The Ghost Legionnaire said nothing as he led his snipers to the preparation area. His face was carved from stone, unreadable. His team carried rifles, custom scopes, and a single duffel bag containing the alien allies' device meant to scramble enemy sensors. No one knew if it would actually work. The defecting alien engineer who had given it to them had disappeared the moment they boarded the ship, leaving behind only vague instructions and a smell like burnt metal. The first round began with a blare of horns that shook the platform. From hidden doors across the arena, alien champions emerged carrying weapons that hummed with lethal energy. Some had 4 arms, others floated using anti-gravity belts. One massive brute carried a cannon the size of a car. Above them, hovering drones projected live scores, commentary, and mocking animations of Earth soldiers tripping over themselves. The rules were simple and cruel. The human team had to land confirmed hits on all alien champions before the clock ran out. Miss even won, and Earth lost the round. 3 lost rounds meant Earth became a galactic tourist attraction for eternity. The first sniper stepped forward, a veteran named Collins who had trained hard under the Ghost's brutal regimen. He took position on a crumbling tower as the arena shifted beneath him. Bridges twisted, winds roared, the molten lava below bubbled hungrily. He steadied his breathing, lined up his shot on a fast-moving alien champion sprinting across the field, and fired. The bullet never reached its target. A glowing shield appeared midair, dissolving the round into harmless sparks. The alien champion laughed, pointed at Collins, and mimed a throat-slitting gesture for the cameras. The crowd howled with delight. Collins cursed and tried again, adjusting his angle, his timing, even his heartbeat, but every shot met the same fate. The alien tech predicted everything, rendering him helpless. Time bled away as the clock counted down. When the round ended with 0 hits for Earth, the arena shook with alien laughter so loud it felt like thunder. Zorith Vex raised his arms in mock sympathy. "1 round gone," he said. 2 more and your planet joins the theme park collection. I think we will call it Primitive World Adventure. Children ride free on weekends." Back in the preparation area, the team seethed with frustration. Collins slammed his rifle down. "This is impossible," he said. "They know everything before we even fire." The Ghost Legionnaire crouched near the alien device, studying its unfamiliar controls. The defecting engineer had claimed it would disrupt targeting sensors, but the instructions were written in a language no human could read. The device itself pulsed faintly as if alive, its surface shifting like liquid metal. Reyes approached quietly, her face tight with worry. "My brother is on one of their ships," she said. "They promised to release the hostages if we win." "Then we win," the ghost said simply. That night, as the alien crowds feasted and celebrated Earth's humiliation, the ghost studied the arena schematics and weather cycles provided by the tournament officials. The aliens had shared them openly, certain no human strategy could overcome their technology. But arrogance was a weakness. The ghost noticed how the targeting shields flickered slightly whenever the arena's artificial storms grew too strong. Perhaps the system struggled with too much environmental interference. The next morning before the second round, an unexpected visitor appeared. The defecting alien engineer, scales glinting nervously, slipped into the preparation area with a small data chip. He claimed it would amplify the scrambling device enough to blind the targeting systems for a few seconds each round. Long enough, maybe, for a single shot. "Why help us now?" the ghost asked coldly. "Because," the alien said, "Zorith Vex destroyed my family's honor. I want him shamed before the galaxy. The ghost accepted the chip, but his eyes remained suspicious. Betrayal was thick in the air, but they had no choice. When the second round began, the alien crowds were louder than ever, eager for more human suffering. Zorath Vex smirked from his throne as the timer started. But this time the ghost activated the device hidden beneath his cloak. A pulse of invisible energy rippled across the arena. For 3 precious seconds, the targeting shields flickered like dying stars. Reyes took the shot. Her bullet flew through wind and rain, ricocheted off a steel pillar, and struck an alien champion squarely in the chest. The creature collapsed in shock as the crowd gasped. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had witnessed one of its champions fall to a primitive weapon. The ghost allowed himself the smallest smile. They had just proven the aliens could bleed. But as the round ended with 2 more confirmed hits before the shields recovered, Zorath Vex leaned forward on his throne, eyes glowing with fury. He had underestimated Earth. The next rounds, he vowed silently, would be different. In the shadows of the preparation area, the defecting alien watched the celebrations with an unreadable expression. No one noticed his hand slide over a hidden transmitter as he whispered into it in a language the humans could not understand. The game, it seemed, had only begun. The second round victory changed everything. Across the galaxy, betting markets erupted into chaos as odds shifted wildly. Entire alien commentators who had spent days laughing at Earth now spoke in tense whispers about the single impossible shot that had brought down a champion. Crowds demanded vengeance. Zorath Vex ordered the next round to be held under conditions so extreme even veteran gladiators muttered in protest. The arena would now shift terrain every 60 seconds, storms would be doubled in intensity, and a swarm of aerial drones armed with blasters would join the fight. The message was clear. Earth's small taste of victory would be its last. In the preparation chamber, the Ghost Legionnaire studied the holographic simulation in silence while the others argued. Some demanded using the scrambling device again despite its limited duration. Others wanted to hold fire until the very last second to catch the aliens off guard. The young sniper Reyes cleaned her rifle with slow, deliberate movements, jaw tight as she thought about her brother held somewhere on an alien prison ship. The ghost finally spoke, his voice calm as stone. "They will expect us to repeat the same trick," he said. "We will not. We will give them something new, something they cannot predict even with all their machines." Collins, still smarting from his failure in the first round, muttered under his breath, "What else can we do? We barely understand that device as it is." The ghost looked at him, expression unreadable. "We stop thinking like shooters," he said. "Start thinking like the storm." When the third round began, the arena unfolded into a nightmare of shifting landscapes. One moment the snipers crouched among icy cliffs whipped by blizzards, the next they clung to platforms rising over molten rivers. Lightning slashed across the artificial sky as alien champions moved with terrifying speed, their targeting shields glowing brighter than ever. Above it all, drones swarmed like angry hornets, firing blaster bolts that scorched the ground inches from the sniper's boot. The first alien champion to fall did so almost by accident. Reyes aimed not at him but at a frozen pillar above his head. Her bullet shattered the ice, sending tons of jagged shards crashing down. The champion raised his shield to block the debris, leaving his chest exposed just long enough for her second shot to punch through. The alien dropped with a roar as the crowd screamed in disbelief. The ghost moved like a shadow through the chaos, firing rarely but always with precision. He used ricochets, reflections, even the wind itself to mask his shot. At one point he fired into a metal wall without even looking, the bullet bouncing twice before striking a drone that had been flanking Collins. The younger sniper stared in disbelief before grinning fiercely. For a moment it seemed Earth might survive another round. 3 alien champions fell in rapid succession, each death sending shockwaves through the arena stands. But then the sabotage began. A sudden pulse of energy knocked out half the scrambling device's power. Shields that had flickered before now burned stronger than ever. Alien drones moved with uncanny coordination, driving the snipers into exposed positions. The defecting alien who had supplied the device was nowhere to be seen. The Ghost realized the betrayal at once. He signaled the team to regroup behind a collapsing stone wall as blaster bolts turned the ground into fire around them. "We have a traitor," he said grimly. "Expect nothing to work as planned." Reyes swore under her breath. "My brother," she said. "If this is all a setup." "It is," the Ghost said. "But setups can be broken." They fought on through the chaos, using every trick learned during training. At one point Collins deliberately threw his empty rifle into the path of an approaching drone. The machine paused to analyze the threat and Reyes dropped it with a single shot. Patel, the rookie sniper, used dust storms to blind pursuing champions, luring them into crossfire set by the others. Every move carried risk. Every second the arena shifted beneath their feet, turning safe ground into sudden death trap. Then came the moment that nearly ended everything. A massive alien champion wielding twin plasma cannons cornered Reyes near the edge of a collapsing platform. She tried to line up a shot but the shifting ground threw off her aim. The champion raised his weapon for the killing blow. Collins appeared out of nowhere, firing twice in rapid succession. The first shot struck the platform's control panel, sending it tilting violently. The second hit the champion's shoulder where the shield had flickered for a split second. The alien toppled backward into the lava below, vanishing in a cloud of steam and fire. The crowd roared with fury. Zorith Vex rose from his throne, eyes blazing as another champion fell moments later to a ricochet shot from the Ghost himself. The scoreboard above the arena now showed 5 alien deaths to Earth's none. Enraged, Zorith gave a signal. The drones changed tactics instantly, focusing fire on the humans with lethal precision. The snipers scattered as the ground itself erupted under blaster strike. For the first time since the games began, the aliens seemed desperate. In the final seconds of the round the Ghost lined up an impossible shot across 3 shifting platforms while rain and wind howled around him. He fired. The bullet curved off a steel beam, skipped across a flooded bridge, and struck the last remaining champion through the eye. Silence fell over the arena. Then the human side erupted with exhausted cheers as the scoreboard confirmed another round won. Earth had survived again. But the victory felt hollow when the team returned to the preparation chamber to find the defecting alien waiting with that same unreadable expression. "Well done," he said smoothly. "You have proven stronger than expected." The Ghost slammed him against the wall before anyone could react. "You sabotaged us," he growled. The alien only smiled faintly. "I merely ensured the games stay interesting. The crowd loves a challenge." Before anyone could respond, a messenger drone arrived bearing a new decree from Zorith Vex himself. The final rounds would no longer be limited to champions. The commander was entering the games personally. If Earth wanted freedom, they would have to defeat him in open combat before the galaxy's eyes. The Ghost released the traitor slowly, eyes cold as winter. "Then we finish this," he said. "Next round, no tricks. No shields. Just him and me." Reyes looked at him sharply. "Can you take him?" The Ghost checked his rifle, voice steady as stone. "I am going to teach their king how mortals kill." The announcement of Zorith Vex entering the games sent shockwaves through the arena and across the galaxy. Billions of viewers leaned closer to their screens, salivating at the thought of their invincible commander personally crushing the primitive world's last hope. Alien bookies changed the odds instantly, predicting Earth's defeat in under 5 minutes. Even the human snipers felt a tremor of unease as they prepared for the final confrontation. They had trained to fight soldiers, champions, drones, but not the commander whose reputation stretched across star systems as the undefeated warlord of 1,000 campaigns. The Ghost Legionnaire, however, remained expressionless as ever. He sat on an ammunition crate cleaning his rifle with slow, deliberate movements while storms howled outside the preparation chamber. He moved like a man sharpening a blade before a duel rather than a soldier about to face certain death. The others watched him in silence, each secretly wondering if anyone alive could truly defeat Zorith Vex in combat. When the round began, the arena transformed into its most dangerous configuration yet. Towering spires of jagged metal rose from rivers of molten fire. Platforms spun slowly in the air, connected by narrow bridges that swayed under hurricane winds. Lightning raged above, as if the very sky wanted to witness the carnage below. At the center platform stood Zorith Vex, his armor glowing with alien energy, a long rifle slung across his back, a curved blade at his side. He raised one clawed hand toward the roaring crowd before pointing directly at the ghost Legionnaire. "Come then, mortal," his voice thundered across the arena. "Show the galaxy your courage before I end your species with one shot." The ghost stepped onto the nearest platform without hesitation, rifle in hand, eyes locked on the alien commander. The rest of the team spread out along the edges, tasked with clearing drones and any interference while the duel took place. The air thrummed with tension as both warriors stared at each other across the shifting platforms. The first shot came from Zorith Vex, a blinding streak of plasma that vaporized a steel pillar inches from the ghost's head. The human dove behind cover as the crowd roared approval, chunks of molten metal raining around him. But when he returned fire, his bullet ricocheted off 3 surfaces before streaking toward the commander's flank. At the last second the alien twisted aside, the round grazing his shoulder plate instead of his heart. "So the ghost has teeth," Zorith Vex growled, raising his rifle again. What followed was less a duel and more a storm of precision and chaos colliding at impossible speed. Zoritha's plasma rounds carved through platforms, sending entire sections collapsing into fire below. The ghost responded with ricochet shots, using wind, debris, and even lightning strikes to mask his angles. Each man moved like a phantom, vanishing behind cover only to appear elsewhere a heartbeat later. Meanwhile, the rest of the team fought off drones swarming the edges of the arena. Reyes gunned down 3 in rapid succession before diving behind a spinning barricade as blaster bolts scorched the ground. Collins and Patel worked together to lure drones into crossfire, their bullets streaking through smoke and rain. But more kept coming, pouring from hidden doors like mechanical hornets, their sole purpose to distract the humans long enough for Zorith to kill their leader. The duel reached its peak when Zorith charged across a collapsing bridge, drawing his curved blade as plasma fire lit the storm behind him. The ghost met him halfway, rifle slung and combat knife drawn. Steel and alien alloy clashed in a shower of sparks atop a platform barely wider than a dinner table. Every strike threatened to send them both plunging into the molten rivers below. During the struggle, flashes of memory cut through the ghost's mind. His fallen unit surrounded by smoke and fire on that last mission years ago. The men and women who had followed him into hell and never returned. The alien broadcasts mocking their deaths, turning sacrifice into punchlines for interstellar audiences. Rage steadied his hand as he blocked another strike and slammed his elbow into the commander's jaw. Zorith staggered back, armor dented, eyes blazing with fury. "You fight well for an insect," he snarled, raising his blade for the killing blow. But before he could strike, a shot rang out from the edge of the arena. Reyes had taken position atop a tilted spire, her rifle aimed with perfect calm despite the wind screaming around her. The bullet struck Zoritha's shoulder joint, spinning him sideways and exposing a gap in his armor. The ghost did not hesitate. He drove his combat knife into the opening with brutal precision. The alien commander roared in pain, swinging wildly, but the ghost twisted the blade deeper before shoving him backward. Zorith stumbled toward the platform's edge as lightning split the sky above them. In desperation, the alien activated a personal shield, energy crackling around him like a second skin. He raised his plasma rifle one final time, aiming directly at the ghost's heart. But the human had already anticipated the move. With a single smooth motion, he drew his sidearm and fired a round not at the commander but at the platform's control panel behind him. The shot ricocheted off metal, struck the panel, and sent the entire platform tilting violently. Zorath lost his footing for the first time as the surface shifted beneath him. His plasma shot went wide, searing harmlessly into the storm clouds above. The ghost stepped forward and kicked the alien commander squarely in the chest. Zorath Vex toppled from the platform with a roar of rage, crashing onto a lower level as debris rained around him. The shield flickered once before vanishing completely. The crowd gasped as the undefeated warlord struggled to rise, blood seeping between the plates of his once impenetrable armor. The ghost retrieved his rifle, lined up a final shot through wind and rain, and fired. The bullet struck Zorath Vex through the throat, silencing him forever as the alien commander collapsed onto the steel below. For a heartbeat the entire arena went still. Billions of viewers across the galaxy held their breath as the scoreboard confirmed the kill. Then chaos erupted. Some alien spectators screamed in disbelief, others roared in anger, while a few, shockingly, began to cheer. The impossible had happened. The king had fallen. But even as the team gathered around the ghost, catching their breath amid the storm, a new threat emerged. From the shadows of the control towers, alien generals began shouting orders. Entire battalions moved toward the arena, weapons drawn, ignoring the rules of the games entirely. It seemed Zorath's death had shattered more than just his pride. It had shattered the entire chain of command, and the war for Earth might only be beginning. The death of Zorath Vex sent shockwaves through the arena and beyond, shaking the entire galaxy in ways no one had imagined. Billions watched in stunned silence as the commander's body lay sprawled on the shattered platform, smoke and sparks rising around him like the aftermath of a fallen god. Then the shouting began. Alien generals bellowed orders, soldiers poured into the arena, weapons primed as if ready to wipe out the entire human team in one furious strike. The rules of the games dissolved instantly. What had begun as spectacle was about to become a massacre. The Ghost Legionnaire raised his rifle, but he knew even before aiming that they were hopelessly outnumbered. The stands erupted in chaos as spectators scrambled for the exits, some screaming in outrage, others laughing as if this too were part of the entertainment. The team regrouped near the center platform, backs to each other, scanning the incoming flood of alien troop. Reyes stood tense at the ghost's side, rifle barrel steady despite the tremor in her hands. Collins muttered a curse under his breath, eyes darting between the advancing soldiers and the prison ship hovering above the arena where human hostages, including Reyes' brother, remained trapped. But before the first shot could be fired, something unexpected happened. A group of heavily armed aliens in gold-trimmed armor stormed into the arena, not to attack the humans but to face down the very soldiers preparing to kill them. Their leader, a towering alien noble with silver horns, raised a hand and barked orders in a booming voice that silenced even the generals. "Enough," he roared for all to hear. "The games are sacred. Zorath Vex has fallen in open combat. His defeat is witnessed by the galaxy. The law of honor demands his killers go free." Murmurs rippled through the arena. The alien spectators, sensing drama greater than any staged battle, began to chant for the rules to be upheld. What had begun as bloodlust twisted now into feverish excitement. They wanted the story, the legend, the shock of seeing the undefeated commander slain and his victors spared by ancient tradition. The soldiers hesitated, caught between rage and the weight of galactic law broadcast to every corner of the universe. The silver-horned noble stepped closer to the Ghost Legionnaire, studying the human with piercing yellow eyes. "You have changed the balance of power tonight, mortal," he said slowly. "The death of Zorath will shatter empires. But the law is clear. You have won." Before the ghost could reply, Reyes spoke sharply, voice cutting through the storm. "The hostages. Release them now." The noble regarded her for a long moment before signaling to his guards. The prison ship's lights flickered, its landing bay opening with a hiss of steam. One by one the human captives were brought down, shaken but alive. Reyes spotted her brother among them and ran forward, pulling him into a fierce embrace before guiding him back toward the team. As the hostages were freed, the alien soldiers who had prepared to kill them slowly lowered their weapons, bound by the weight of the law they could not break without turning half the galaxy against them. The silver-horned noble addressed the roaring crowd, declaring the games over, Earth victorious, its people free by right of combat. But the Ghost Legionnaire knew this was not the end. He watched the alien generals retreat with cold fury in their eyes, already plotting revenge behind diplomatic smiles. The death of Zorath had created a power vacuum. Someone worse might rise to fill it. The team left the arena under heavy guard, moving through corridors still shaking from distant riots as news of Zorath's death spread across the planet. Some aliens knelt in respect as they passed, others spat curses, but none dared attack under the watchful eyes of the noble soldiers. At the landing platform the silver-horned alien approached the ghost once more. "You have earned your freedom," he said, "but know this. The galaxy will not forget tonight. Some will want peace with your world. Others will want vengeance. Prepare yourselves." The ghost gave no answer, only a curt nod before boarding the transport ship with his team and the rescued hostages. Engines roared, lifting them into the stormy skies above Crixus 9 as fires burned below and alien factions clashed in the streets over what came next. During the journey back to Earth the team sat in exhausted silence. Reyes kept close to her brother, refusing to let go of his hand as though he might vanish if she did. Collins cleaned his rifle methodically, muttering about the look on Zorath's face when he fell. Patel stared out the window at the stars rushing past, eyes wide with the realization that the galaxy was far bigger and stranger than he had ever imagined. The Ghost Legionnaire said nothing the entire trip. He sat apart from the others, hands resting on the rifle across his knees, eyes distant as if already seeing the battles yet to come. When they landed on Earth the world erupted in celebration. Crowds filled the streets waving banners, shouting the names of the snipers who had faced the impossible and won. News screens replayed the final duel again and again, the moment Zorath Vex fell becoming instant legend. For the first time in history Earth had defeated not just an invasion but an empire's pride before the eyes of billions. Yet beneath the cheers ran a current of unease. Reports from alien networks spoke of civil war brewing among Zorath's former allies, of fleets mobilizing either for peace talks or revenge missions. The balance of power in the galaxy had cracked, and no one knew what might emerge from the fracture. During the official ceremony where Earth's leaders offered medals and speeches, the Ghost Legionnaire stood stiffly in his formal uniform, enduring the cameras and praise with the same grim silence he had shown since the beginning. When asked to speak he simply said, "We did our job. That is all." After the ceremony he disappeared from the public eye entirely. Some claimed he returned to his desert cabin, others whispered he was training a new generation of soldiers for wars no one had yet seen. The truth was known only to him. Months passed. Earth rebuilt, strengthened its defenses, even opened tentative talks with some alien factions who saw profit and opportunity in cooperation rather than conquest. But in the darker corners of the galaxy whispers spread of a new warlord rising among the remnants of Zorath's forces, one who wanted vengeance not just for defeat but for humiliation before the entire universe. One evening as the sun set over the Nevada desert, Reyes visited the old cabin where it had all begun. She found the ghost cleaning his rifle as always, the horizon glowing red behind him. "Reports say they want a rematch next year," she told him quietly. The ghost did not look up from his work. "Let them come," he said at last. Somewhere above the stars flickered like distant gunfire, as though the universe itself waited for the next shot to be fired.